Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the world's biggest stars and some of my favourite people. And we've got one for you today. Phil Randall, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, my darling.
And we have another one too. Ceri Dupree, how are you?
I'm very well.
I'd like to sit here and be all sarcastic about the fact that you're just two ugly sisters in a pantomime, but it has to be said, you are going to be wearing probably the best costumes that have ever adorned a pantomime stage this Christmas. I've seen them. You kindly showed them me earlier. They are incredible, aren't they?
Yes, I think so. I think they're their best. I'm not going to say they're not, but they are. I designed them, and like I said, I've worn some amazing costumes over the years. But these are going to be some of the best costumes. That's Suzanne Shaw. I don't know who she is. I think she's in the show. She's wandering around looking for footballers. Go away.
It must be utterly thrilling to be with this cast here in Birmingham in Cinderella, which is the UK's #1 show. It's got the staging and the production from the Palladium, and you've been chosen to be the Ugly Sisters. Phil, this must be amazing.
Oh, it really is, yes. I mean, it was like a little bit like a dream came true when they said, would you join the cast, which was at the Palladium last year, and then Ceri designed all these fantastic costumes. And as you said, they are going to be the best. I've never seen anything like this before in any other panto.
How do you rise to the occasion when you're stood next to Ceri Dupree, who, let's face it, doesn't like to pull focus from time to time?
What?
Ceri, do you have anything to say?
Nothing at all. I don't know what you mean. I'd never do that. Give me that microphone.
I mean, what's beautiful about you today, watching you both stood there, is you are quite different because you're unfeasibly tall, aren't you, Ceri? And then Phil, you must like a buffet. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, yes. Short and fat, you little...
No, I mean it in a nice way. I mean it in a lovely way. That you're...
Yes, well, I'm an old girl now. Yes, no, the ugly sisters, there's always the tall, thin one and the short, fat one. Always.
But it doesn't matter as long as they're paying you.
I don't think I like you anymore. Go away.
No, I like your blue frock. Let's describe it. It's sort of a Shirley Bassey number, isn't it?
Yes.
And how long does it take you to get in all of this? Because I think the downside of being the Ugly Sisters, the great side is, of course, that you steal the show and the kids love you, but you have to turn up early and get ready, and you're always the last one out of the theatre. It is hard work, isn't it?
Oh, yes, yes.
Are you going to the gym at the moment to get ready for it? How are you preparing?
Do you fancy joining this panto company? You're a better comedian than what we've seen.
No, not at all. Are you yourself doing exercise weekly or trying to get in the mood, Ceri?
I don't exercise weekly. I think costume changes keep me fit,
It is hard work. I mean, how many are there? 16 in this, is there?
No, it's only 12.
Oh, 12. Oh, well, that's easy then for you, isn't it?
In the first half.
Let's just talk about your career a little bit, because for those who don't know, most people do pantomime once a year, but really you're doing it all year on tour. You are the world's greatest female impersonator. Let's be clear. You have the most fabulous costumes that cost a fortune with the most brilliant act. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I actually said something nice and meant it then.
I know. Well, see, this is why I don't find pantomime tiring. And when people say, oh, I'm so tired, for me, it's not, because travelling around, as you just said, doing the one-man shows, doing this, that, the other, that's tiring. Pantomime, we're there for 6 weeks, the costumes are there, we come into the theatre. I say this when I work with Joe Pasquale. You arrive, you put on silly makeup, silly costumes, you jump around, you make people laugh, and they pay you.
This is slightly different though, isn't it? Because you're in the biggest theatre outside of London doing the biggest pantomime with the most pressure with a huge cast. Are even you excited by this? Because you've done a lot in your career and you've worked with a lot of people. Is this thrilling?
Yeah, well, I'm always excited to take on a new project, and like I said, Birmingham Hippodrome, fantastic. I've worked with Phil before, years ago. We did Ugly Sister. That's the last time I did Ugly Sister in 1989, Wolverhampton with Phil. But I've not worked with Matt Slack, I've not worked with Suzanne Shaw, with Beverly Knight. So it's great to work with all these new people.
What's the difference between being a dame and an ugly sister, or is it just semantics?
Well, as an ugly sister, you're evil character. And there's a lot of fun in getting the kids to absolutely detest you, And most of my career now, I've played a dame, which is all lovely-dovely and mumsy and everything like that. But occasionally you do an ugly sister, and then it's a little bit more challenging to get the kids to hate you being so lovely as I am.
Well, the dame must be warm, you know, and have pathos and all that, and you want to laugh with the dame, you know. Whereas you hate the ugly sisters, you know. The only little bit of pathos is maybe in some shows towards the end, you know. Because I said to Michael, you know, I said, oh, in the finale, you know, they'll boo us, and he said, well, of course, because you're evil. I said, but can't we change at the end? Can't Cinderella just forgive us? They shout hooray at the end. He went, no.
So he's not going to let you soften by the end of the show?
No, he's not going to let me soften by the end of the show. And I know where that line of question is going, Alex Bell, if he doesn't put it away.
No, I do want to know, will there be any innuendo in this show, or have they whipped it out?
There'll be a little bit of naughtiness, I should think, once we're all up and running.
I think it's very hard to get innuendo into a pantomime.
Really?
Really.
And your costumes, they're currently in production. I know you start in about January the 1st, don't you?
Yes, actually, I was lazy. This was the 2nd of January I started them. Yeah, put my first sip in. No, I designed them. Well, I did design them. I designed them in March. And mine are almost finished now. Phil's are under construction. And they take ages and ages because they're so elaborate.
When you say construction, is implying there's scaffolding. What's he implying?
Well, no, we can't give the game away, but these are quite spectacular costumes. They're not just a bit of sequin material. They have to be structured.
A lot of sequin material.
Yes.
And let's talk about the length. 6 weeks is a long time to be doing pantomime. Mm-hmm. Does that intimidate you, or is that just lovely to be home in one place without having to move for 6 weeks?
Oh, a long one doesn't bother me.
Because normally you do a shorter one, don't you? 3 weeks.
Well, I hate short ones.
No.
You know.
He likes a long one.
And what about you, Phil? Do you prefer a long one or a short one?
Partial to a long one as well.
Partial to one?
Yes. Mm.
And
this is going to be
at the end of... No, it won't be edited, trust me. And at the end of it, do you think you'll end up loving each other or hating each other because you're going to be on stage together, night in and night out? Will you be sharing dressing rooms?
No.
No, we have a dressing room each, you know.
Because the ugly sisters, I mean, nobody hates them more than they hate themselves. That's the point of the show, isn't it?
I don't agree with that. That's not professional. When you're professional, you get out on that stage and you do your job. But we've been mates for 30-odd years.
But I mean, as characters, their job is to really... I mean, you're going to be a bully, aren't you? I mean, that is the point of the character.
Yeah, of course, to be a bully and to be evil and to be horrible and, yeah, of course.
There aren't many redeeming features about you.
Not at all.
And as for you being in Birmingham, is it exciting? Have you worked at the Hippodrome before?
No, first time.
Big old place, isn't it? Nearly 3,000 seats.
I've been to see many shows at the Hippodrome, you know, but first time to work at the Hippodrome.
And finally, we're going to talk about your life. So you're going to rehearsals at the beginning of December and you leave the production at the end of January. I guess for you, this is something that you can be proud of forever and put on the CV. I mean, you've been doing this a long time. How many pantos?
Well, I don't know. I can't remember how many pantomimes. Phil has done, this is your 30th. I can't remember how many I've done. Not that many. I think I've probably done about, I don't know, 18, something like that.
And what about the flying in, Phil? Will they be putting you on one of those hoists?
Now I'm giving the game away, aren't I? No.
So you can't tell me?
No.
Well, no, I won't tell you. You say we're flying, but you're right and you're wrong.
I didn't say you were. I was asking, were you?
Well, yes and no. We are, but we're not.
You're impartial.
It's not flying per se. You know.
Don't give the secrets away.
I wish you all the best. As far as I'm concerned, Ceri, you know, I think you're an incredible act, and Phil as well. I can't wait to see you as the Ugly Sisters together. Is it nice? How long has it been since you last worked together, did you say?
1989.
How old were you in those days, Ceri?
I can't remember. Somewhere between 40 and death.
Congratulations on everything. If you want to find out more, you can go to the Birmingham Hippodrome website. It opens on the 19th of December for 6 weeks, 2 shows a day. Good luck. Have the best time ever. Congratulations on being in Cinderella. Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you. Thank you.
Continue being delicious.
Oh, the pleasure was all yours.